Have you ever found yourself at a point in life where you're surrounded by people but still feel a quiet sense of emptiness? Or perhaps, you've wondered why some relationships fade as we grow older, and how to find real peace and joy without constantly being busy or overcommit. In today's video, I want to share something deeply personal, something I've learned through years of navigating life's changes. The true value of meaningful connections and how to protect your peace at any stage of life. If you're someone who struggles with balancing social obligations and personal well-being, or if you're feeling overwhelmed by the demands of everyday life, this video is for you. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some of the most fulfilling relationships are the simple, quiet ones, those that don't require grand gestures, just genuine care. I'll also share with you how to embrace the beauty of aging with grace and how loss can be transformed into something beautiful that brings you closer to what matters. In addition, I'll give you actionable insights on how to start embracing a life filled with meaningful connections and peaceful moments, so you can finally experience the joy that comes from focusing on the things that truly nourish your soul. Stay with me until the end, because the lessons I'm about to share might just change the way you look at life, relationships, and your journey. So, if you're ready to embrace the simple beauty of life and find fulfillment in the little things, keep watching. If you are not subscribed, I recommend subscribing and activating the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. As the years have drifted by, I've come to realize that life is not a race to be won, but a journey to be cherished. At 70, the rhythm of my days has slowed naturally, and with it has come a profound sense of peace and a deeper appreciation for the quiet moments that once passed unnoticed. The relentless rush of my youth, when time stretched out endlessly before me and energy flowed without end, has gradually given way to something gentler, something more deliberate. There is a grace in this slower pace, a rhythm that feels more in tune with who I am now, more attuned to the present. I no longer wake up to the pressure of a long to-do list or a series of appointments to rush to. Instead, my mornings begin with the soft warmth of a cup of coffee in hand, as I sit in the stillness of my home, watching the sunlight filter through the trees outside my window. There is something deeply moving about the way the light dances on the leaves, how it touches the world in such quiet reverence. In these simple moments, I have discovered that slowing down is not merely an inevitable part of aging. It is a gift, a treasure to be held close. Visiting others, once an almost automatic part of my life, now feels like stepping into a world that no longer matches the pace I've come to embrace. It's not that I don't deeply value the company of my family and friends. I do, with all my heart. But the effort, the energy, the time it takes to maintain a social schedule now feels somewhat dissonant with the rhythm I've adopted in these later years. Life at this stage is not about cramming every possible activity into each day. It is about savoring the time I have, finding meaning in the moments, and holding on to what feels truly important. When I was younger, there was an unspoken obligation to show up, to be there for every celebration, every dinner, every coffee catch-up. I was driven by a need to connect, to be seen, to feel part of something larger than myself. But now, I find that the bonds I treasure most don't require my physical presence nearly as often. A simple phone call, a heartfelt message, or a handwritten note often carry more weight than an in-person visit. These quieter, more thoughtful ways of staying connected have allowed me to nurture my relationships without disrupting the peaceful cadence of my days. There is a particular kind of peace that comes with no longer rushing from one place to another. I've come to realize that the most precious moments in life are often those that unfold in stillness. The quiet shift of light as the day slowly moves toward evening, the gentle rustling of leaves as the wind whispers through the trees, the soft hum of a familiar home that brings comfort and ease. These are the moments I would miss if I were always on the move, always chasing the next thing. I've learned to slow down and truly see, to be present in the now, because I understand that these moments, fleeting as they are the essence of life. Visiting others, while still a source of joy, sometimes feels like stepping back into a more demanding world. A world where time is scarce, schedules must align, and conversation rushes to keep up with the ticking clock. That world, once so familiar, now seems out of step with the peaceful rhythm I've found in my own life. At 70, I no longer feel compelled to keep up with that pace. Instead, I choose to remain where life feels steady, where time is mine to spend as I see fit, without the pressure of obligations. There is a quiet wisdom that comes with age, a knowing that not every invitation needs to be accepted and not every moment has to be filled with activity. I have released the guilt that once accompanied the decision to decline visits, to say no to the demands of a busy social calendar. It's not about being distant or indifferent. It's about honoring my boundaries, listening to my heart, and choosing a life that feels true to who I am now. The truth is, I've learned that the greatest gift I can give myself is the freedom to be still, to embrace the simplicity of each day, and to fill my life with meaning that comes from within, not from external expectations. This isn't a retreat from the world. It's a conscious, thoughtful decision to engage with it on my terms, in my own time. There are moments, often quiet and fleeting, when I look back on the years that have passed, and I realize just how much of my life was consumed by the relentless pursuit of time. Always hurrying, always racing toward the next task or responsibility, feeling like I was always running out of it. There was never enough. Never enough time, never enough space to simply be. But now, I've come to understand something profound. Life doesn't have to be rushed. I've learned, finally, how to treasure the present by embracing a slower, more deliberate rhythm. In these quiet, unhurried moments, I have discovered that time, far from being a thief, is a gift that expands when I stop trying to control it. There's no frantic urgency, no pressure to be anywhere other than here, in this moment. The choice to slow down, to visit less, is not about retreating into isolation. It's about presence. It's about being fully alive, fully in the moment, in the space I've carved out for myself. And at 70, I can say with certainty that the richest joys in life often don't come from doing. They come from simply being. This slower, quieter way of living, it feels just right to me. Energy, I've learned, is a precious thing. It's a truth that becomes undeniable as we age. Energy, once abundant and taken for granted, becomes a finite resource. In my younger years, I never gave it much thought. Back then, I could fill a day with errands, social gatherings, and late-night chats, and still wake up the next morning eager to start all over again. The days felt endless, and my energy seemed limitless. But now, at 70, the way I use my energy feels more intentional and more considered. When I wake up each morning, I don't rush to fill my day with obligations and plans. Instead, I listen to my body. There are days when I feel full of life, when my legs itch to take a walk in the fresh air or my heart swells at the thought of a long, meaningful conversation with a dear friend. But there are also days, and I've come to accept this, when even the thought of leaving the house feels overwhelming. And that's okay. I no longer feel the need to fight against it. I've learned to honor my limitations rather than resent them. I've learned that it's okay to rest. Visiting someone, especially, requires a kind of energy I no longer have in abundance. It's not just the physical act of traveling from one place to another. It's the mental and emotional energy required to truly engage with someone, to be there, to listen deeply, to share in the moment with them. These are things I still value deeply, but I've come to realize that they take so much more out of me now. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I no longer want to show up somewhere only to find myself too tired to appreciate the company or the conversation. Instead, I prefer to reserve my energy for the moments that truly bring me joy and fulfillment. I've become more selective about how I spend my energy at this stage of my life, and each choice feels weightier and more meaningful. It's not selfish. It's simply the recognition that my time and energy are limited, and I want to invest them wisely. Rather than scattering myself thin across countless interactions, I've chosen to focus on what matters most, on relationships that nourish my spirit and activities that rejuvenate my soul. That might mean a heartfelt phone call with a grandchild, or an afternoon spent lost in the pages of a book. Simple things, but they are the moments that fill me up rather than drain me. And in those moments, I find the energy to live, to truly live, in ways I never did when I was younger. There is a profound and quiet beauty in the kind of mindfulness I've come to embrace. By deliberately channeling my energy with intention, I've unlocked a deeper, more resonant sense of peace and contentment. It's as though I've found a hidden well of stillness within myself, one that flourishes when I stop trying to be everything to everyone. I've come to understand that I don't need to carry the weight of others' expectations, nor do I need to stretch myself thin across every demand. Instead, I've learned to immerse myself fully in the moments that truly matter. The people I choose to spend my time with, and the experiences I allow myself to engage in, are now more precious to me than anything else. And in these moments, there's an undeniable sense of fulfillment, a sense that I am giving my energy in the most meaningful way possible. To be fully present, to simply be, Feels like a quiet victory in a world that constantly pulls us in 1,000 different directions. But the social landscape today feels so much different. There's a subtle yet profound shift in how we connect, and I can't help but feel the weight of it. I often find myself longing for the days when visiting was a spontaneous act of affection, when socializing didn't come with the heavy burden of expectation. Back then, there was an unspoken warmth, a kind of effortless understanding. You didn't need an invitation to drop by. You simply showed up, perhaps with a plate of freshly baked cookies or nothing at all, just the desire to connect. And the door would swing open, the welcome unreserved, as if the very act of being together was enough. There were no demands of perfection, no hidden agenda, just the simple, quiet joy of shared presence. It wasn't about appearances or the trappings of formality. It was about a genuine connection, about showing up as you were and being embraced in return. Now, it feels so different. The art of visiting has been replaced by schedules, plans, and a kind of performance. There's an underlying pressure to make everything right. The house must be neat, the meal prepared just so, the clothes perfectly chosen. These seemingly small expectations slowly chip away at the warmth that used to characterize those moments of connection. The spontaneity is gone, and with it, a piece of the joy I once found in simply being with others. I no longer want to feel like I'm putting on a show when I spend time with the people I care about. I want to be able to let my guard down, to relax into the authenticity of the moment, without the weight of pretense. I want my gatherings to feel like home, comfortable, unguarded, real. And even in conversations, I feel the change. They move too quickly, skimming the surface, as if everyone is trying to cram their lives into a too small space. Time feels rushed and fleeting, and there's little room left for the kind of deep, soul-stirring conversations I crave. The connections that once felt rich and nourishing now feel thin and hurried. It's not that anyone is to blame. It's simply the reality of a world that moves at an overwhelming pace. But still, I can't help but yearn for the simpler days when the time felt slower, when a conversation could meander and grow, when we could truly listen and be heard. I long for those moments when a connection wasn't about checking off a box or fitting into a schedule, but about truly sharing our stories. Slowly, deeply, without interruption. And in this space of longing, I find myself cherishing the quiet, mindful moments even more, because they are becoming increasingly rare. I've come to realize that many homes today are not designed with people like me in mind. The stairs that seem too steep, the uncomfortably low chairs, and the relentless buzz of activity in bustling environments all make visiting others more challenging than it once was. The simple act of stepping into a new space now carries with it a layer of apprehension. I often find myself quietly worrying. Will I be able to navigate this place with ease? Will I be able to hear the conversation over the din of background noise? Will I feel like an outsider, struggling to fit into a world that seems to move faster than I can keep up with? These worries, small yet persistent, can sometimes overshadow the joy of being with others, leaving me feeling disconnected, even in the company of those I love. It's not that I don't value connection. On the contrary, it is one of the most precious things in my life. But as time has passed, I've begun to seek out new, more personal ways to stay close to the people who matter most to me. A handwritten letter, inked with care and thought, brings a warmth that technology can never replicate. A phone call, the sound of a familiar voice cutting through the distance, or a video chat that bridges the physical gap, have become my new ways of sharing my heart. These quieter, more intimate moments allow me to remain deeply connected, without the added stress of navigating modern social expectations. There is a profound truth in these more personal exchanges, one that resonates deeply with my soul. They feel truer, somehow more aligned with who I am and where I am in life. The world may have evolved around me, but I've learned to adapt in ways that allow me to preserve my peace and authenticity. No longer burdened by the need to meet the fast-paced demands of today's social norms, I've focused instead on building relationships that are rooted in sincerity, that are genuine, and that nourish my spirit. After all, it's not the mode of connection that matters most. It is the love, the thoughtfulness, and the care that we pour into these moments that truly counts. In the end, it is these small, tender gestures that I hold closest to my heart. And then there is the comfort of my own space. Home has taken on an entirely new meaning for me as the years have passed. It's no longer just a roof over my head. It's a sanctuary, a place of profound solace and deep familiarity. Over time, I've come to understand that no matter how warm or inviting someone else's home may be, it can never replace the peace that my own space provides. My home is an extension of myself, a reflection of the life I've lived. Each corner is filled with memories. Each object holds a story, a moment frozen in time. When I sit in my favorite chair by the window, where the soft light pours in like a gentle embrace, I feel rooted. It is more than just a place to sit. It is my haven, where I find comfort and grounding, a place that holds me in ways no other space ever could. In a world that is relentlessly shifting and transforming, I find a profound sense of solace in the embrace of my own home, a sanctuary untouched by the chaos beyond its walls. The peaceful stillness of my room, the gentle melody of birdsong echoing from the trees, and the sweet fragrance of familiar flowers drifting from the garden all weave together a tapestry of comfort and belonging that fills my heart with peace. There is something deeply nurturing, almost sacred, about inhabiting a space that is entirely my own, a place where the weight of the world can be momentarily set aside. Stepping outside of this comforting cocoon, though it brings new experiences and joy at times, always feels like a departure from something irreplaceable. No longer do I long for adventures away from my refuge unless necessary. Here, in the warmth of my sanctuary, I am free from the expectations and pressures of the outside world. I can immerse myself in the simple joys of life, reading a beloved book, knitting threads of tranquility, or watching the quiet dance of life unfold outside my window, without the pull of obligation to be elsewhere. This is not to say that I do not cherish the company of my family and friends. I love them deeply. Yet, over time, I have come to understand that true comfort is not found in constant interaction or external connection. It lies in the peace I have cultivated within myself, within the walls that surround me. My home has become more than just a physical space. It is a refuge, a haven where I can simply exist without haste, without the pressure to fulfill anyone's expectations. In this simplicity, I have discovered a deep, unshakable contentment that no trip or visit could ever provide. And even though my ability to visit others has become more limited, I've come to realize that there are countless ways to nurture relationships and express love, even from the quiet corners of my own home. The bonds we share are not confined by geography or proximity. They are nourished by the love and care we invest in one another. I have found that connection, authentic, can flourish in the most unexpected ways. Reflecting on the passage of time, especially as I approach my 70th year, loss has become a constant companion, an ever-present shadow that quietly trails behind me, a gentle reminder of the fragility of life. It is not only the absence of loved ones that I feel most acutely, though that grief cuts deepest. It is also the loss of simple routines, cherished abilities, and pieces of myself that once seemed permanent. Each goodbye, each subtle change, serves as a poignant reminder of life's fleeting nature. This understanding has shaped my perspective on the days that remain and the relationships I hold dear. I approach each moment with a tenderness and gratitude that I never fully appreciated before, savoring what I have and cherishing what remains. When I think about visiting others, there are moments when the weight of past losses comes rushing back, heavy and undeniable. Stepping into a home where someone I cherished once lived, or gathering with friends whose faces echo the warmth of those who are no longer here, stirs a deep, lingering sadness that clings to me long after the visit has ended. It's not that I don't hold the connections I still have in the highest regard, because I do, with every part of my heart. But the reality of some beloved souls being beyond my reach now is a quiet ache, a void that no laughter or conversation can fill. Their absence hangs in the air, an undeniable silence that no word, no gesture, can ever truly soothe. As time has passed, I've learned to honor these losses in ways that are deeply personal and quiet, yet profoundly meaningful. I light candles for those who have gone, their flames flickering softly, like small beacons that remind me that their light, their spirit, continues to live on within me. I immerse myself in old photo albums, letting the faces of the past flood my heart with memories that are as beautiful as they are bittersweet. I speak their names aloud in quiet reverence, as though speaking into the air can keep them close, as though their very presence might fill the spaces around me. These rituals, though simple, have become my sacred practices, and ways of carrying their memory forward, even as the landscape of my relationships constantly shifts and changes. Through the pain of loss, I've learned to be more present with the people still by my side. Every conversation, every shared moment feels like a fragile treasure, more precious now because I've come to understand just how fleeting these moments can be. My capacity for love and gratitude has grown and deepened in ways I never could have anticipated. I've become intentional in expressing my feelings, in telling those I hold dear how much they mean to me, and how their existence in my life is a gift I do not take for granted. In this way, loss, though painful, has also opened my heart to an even greater depth of connection, even as the circle of people I connect with has inevitably shrunk. Visiting friends and family may remind me of who is missing, but it also illuminates who is still here, and who continues to share in this journey with me. By choosing to focus on the relationships that bring me joy and comfort, I've found a way to navigate the grief that inevitably accompanies a long life. Loss, in all its pain, has shaped me, but it has not broken me. Instead, it has allowed me to see the beauty in the time I still have, in the love I still share, and in the fleeting moments that make life so profoundly precious. As I have grown older, I have come to deeply appreciate the profound value of peace. No longer merely a fleeting moment of silence, but a sacred state of being that nurtures my mind, body, and soul. It is not just a luxury. It is a necessity, one that has become a precious anchor in my life. Protecting this peace has evolved into a powerful priority, one I fiercely defend in this chapter of my journey. I've learned that true peace is not about shutting people out or retreating from the world around me. It's about creating sacred boundaries. Boundaries that allow me to live with purpose, intention, and above all, harmony. These boundaries are not walls, but gentle yet firm lines that define who I am, who I want to be, and how I wish to engage with the world. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. Visiting others, though it can often bring joy and connection, has at times threatened the delicate balance of this peace. The preparations, the travel, and the emotional energy required to engage fully with others can feel not just overwhelming but suffocating. Even the thought of a visit, wondering whether I will feel comfortable, whether I will be able to show up as my true self, whether the day will unfold without friction, can cast a shadow of unease that lingers quietly in the back of my mind. These moments of anticipation are not to be ignored. I have learned to recognize them as signals from within, whispers from my soul that urge me to pause and reflect. Instead of pushing through them out of a sense of duty or obligation, I now choose to honor them, acknowledging my own emotional needs as sacred, rather than secondary. For me, peace is found not in the grand gestures or the sweeping moments of life, but in the small, often overlooked rhythms of my everyday existence. It is in the stillness of the early morning when the world is still wrapped in the embrace of slumber, and I am alone with my thoughts, my dreams, and the quiet pulse of life. It is in the delicate symphony of sounds that greet my senses, the soft call of birds outside my window, the crisp rustle of pages turning as I lose myself in a book, the comforting warmth of a blanket enveloping me on a cool evening. These seemingly ordinary moments carry within them a profound sense of grounding, a touchstone for my spirit that helps me navigate the chaos of the world outside. They offer me the calm I often struggle to find in the noise of social obligations and the pressures of everyday life. In protecting my peace, I've also created space for introspection and growth. I've discovered hidden passions, like painting, which allows my soul to speak through color, and gardening, which grounds me in the timeless rhythms of nature that infuse my days with beauty and purpose. I've deepened my relationship with myself, learning to listen more intently to my own needs, desires, and aspirations. No longer do I live for the expectations of others or seek validation in the eyes of the world. The contentment I now cherish is not dependent on external sources. It is a quiet, unwavering sense of fulfillment that radiates from within, built on a foundation of self-acceptance and inner peace. In this space, I have found an unshakable peace, one that sustains me, nurtures me, and reminds me that I am enough, just as I am. This doesn't mean I don't value connection. On the contrary, I hold it in the highest regard. But the kind of connection I value has shifted over the years. I no longer crave the loud, frantic energy of every social event or the constant pressure to be everywhere, do everything, and be everything to everyone. Instead, I cherish the relationships that bring me peace, the ones that fill my heart with a sense of calm and fulfillment rather than leaving me feeling depleted or anxious. These connections, authentic, genuine, and free of expectation, are the ones that truly nourish me. They remind me of the importance of emotional sanctuary, a place where I can be my truest self without the need for pretense. I've learned, sometimes through painful experience, how important it is to say no to the invitations that feel more like obligations, the ones that come with an underlying sense of guilt or pressure. It's not about rejecting people, it's about rejecting the chaos they bring into my life. It's about learning the courage to prioritize my peace and well-being. As a result, I've surrounded myself with individuals who bring light and positivity into my life. People whose presence uplifts my spirit and leaves me feeling recharged rather than exhausted. Choosing peace isn't always easy. It requires me to stand firm in my convictions and to make difficult decisions. But in the end, it has brought me immeasurable joy and a profound sense of inner peace that I never knew was possible. In protecting my peace, I've discovered a way to navigate the complexities of aging with a deep, quiet grace. With each passing year, I've come to understand that I don't need to chase after every fleeting opportunity or exhaust myself trying to be present for every event. There was a time when I felt like I had to be everywhere, doing everything, constantly proving my worth through busy schedules and packed calendars. But now, I've learned that true peace isn't found in running after what society deems important. Instead, it's about carving out a life that feels truly authentic to who I am, about finding the courage to step away from the noise and focus on what brings me fulfillment, however small or quiet that might seem to the outside world. I have come to realize that life's deepest joys aren't hidden in the hustle and bustle, but in the quiet, simple moments. True peace isn't something that can be found or earned. It's something that must be created, nurtured and cultivated from within, one intentional choice at a time. As the years have passed, I've come to cherish the quiet joy of simpler, more meaningful connections. The fast-paced, high-energy social gatherings that once thrilled me with their excitement and promise of new connections now feel like exhausting whirlwinds that I no longer feel drawn to. The endless chatter, the small talk that fills the air like empty noise, it all feels so far removed from the kind of connection I crave today. Instead, I've discovered a profound sense of fulfillment in the quieter, more intimate moments of connection. These are the moments that don't require grand gestures, elaborate decorations, or endless entertainment. All they require is presence. The simple, beautiful act of being fully present with another person, no distractions, no agenda. There is a certain magic in these quiet exchanges, a peace that can only come when two people truly connect on a deeper level, beyond the surface of everyday conversation. It's in the softness of a shared look, the unspoken understanding, the way a simple gesture or word can convey more than any speech ever could. I have come to see that there is a special kind of beauty in the simplest of human interactions. It's in the quiet exchange of a smile with a stranger, in the warmth of a neighbor's wave as they pass by, in the gentle reassurance that comes from the ritual of calling a dear friend just to see how they're doing. These moments, small, fleeting, almost imperceptible to the hurried observer, are the very essence of human connection. They may seem insignificant to someone who is caught up in the rush of life, but to me, they are everything. They are the threads that weave the rich tapestry of my life, each one adding depth, meaning, and warmth to my days. These interactions remind me that connection isn't about grand displays or constant activity. It's about the genuine, heartfelt exchange of care, kindness, and compassion. It's in the everyday moments, the quiet acts of love and kindness, that the true meaning of connection is found. These small gestures, so simple yet so profound, are what make life beautiful, what makes it worth living. And in them, I have found a peace and contentment that no social event or elaborate gathering could ever offer. The older I get, the more I realize that the truest connections are not the ones that demand our time or energy, but the ones that give back to us in ways we can't always explain. The simple, honest connections, like a hug from an old friend, a shared laugh with a family member, or a comforting touch from a loved one, are the ones that fill me up in ways that nothing else can. They don't require anything from us except our willingness to be present, to show up with our hearts open, and to share in the quiet beauty of human existence. These are the moments I hold most dear, the ones that make me feel truly connected to the world around me. It's these moments that have taught me that true connection doesn't lie in how many people you know or how busy your social calendar is. It lies in the depth of the moments you share with those who matter most. The ones who see you, understand you, and accept you for who you are, without expectation or condition. These are the connections that nourish the soul and bring lasting peace to the heart. I've come to understand and deeply cherish the profound beauty of solitary connection. Those quiet, sacred moments when, despite being physically alone, I feel closer to others than ever before. It is in these moments that I experience a kind of quiet, invisible bond with those I love, a connection that transcends distance, time, and physical presence. Writing a letter to my grandchildren has become one of my most cherished acts. As I carefully compose each word, imagining the look of delight on their faces when they read my thoughts, my heart fills with a quiet, overwhelming joy. These letters are more than just words on paper. They are vessels of love, of shared memories, of the bond that stretches across generations. Even though we may be miles apart, in those words, I am right there with them. It is a form of closeness that doesn't require touch or proximity but is instead carried through the pages, through the shared meaning and affection embedded in each sentence. Looking through old photo albums is another way I reconnect with the past, and with the love that has always surrounded me. Each photograph is like a window into another time, a frozen moment of joy, sorrow, or celebration that holds the essence of all that I have experienced. I find myself reliving those moments, not just through memory, but with a deep emotional resonance, as if I am re-experiencing the warmth of a hug, the sound of laughter, the comfort of a familiar voice. I see not just faces, but the deep love, the quiet sacrifices, and the profound bonds that have shaped me. Those images, though worn and faded, are still as vibrant in my heart as they were the day they were captured. And with each turn of the page, I am reminded of the incredible, ever-present love that has surrounded me throughout my life. It is a love that has never faltered, even in times of hardship or loneliness. It has been a constant companion, a source of strength, and a wellspring of comfort. Even in the quiet solitude of my thoughts, I feel the presence of the people I hold dear. Sitting in stillness, reflecting on my life and the relationships that have shaped me, I realize that connection doesn't always require another person beside me. Sometimes, simply thinking of those who have touched your life can be enough to fill your heart with a sense of profound belonging. It's as if, in those quiet moments, I am holding them with me in spirit, feeling their love, their support, and the memories we've shared, all wrapped up in a moment of silent connection. And it is in these moments of quiet reflection that I truly understand the power of love and memory, how they can transcend time and space, and how they can continue to nourish my soul long after the people I love are no longer physically present. These simpler, quieter connections have taught me the invaluable art of savoring the present. I no longer feel the need to chase after every fleeting trend or be constantly busy to feel close to others. In my younger years, I believed that social engagement, constant activity, and external validation were the keys to connection. But now, I've come to realize that true connection comes not from the quantity of interactions, but from the quality and depth of the moments we share. I no longer feel compelled to attend every social event or keep up with every new fad to feel accepted or connected. Instead, I focus on the moments that truly matter, those that make my heart swell with joy, and that leave me with a sense of fulfillment and peace. A simple, heartfelt conversation over the phone with a loved one, where the sound of laughter echoes through the line and stories flow freely, feels infinitely more meaningful and nourishing than any large, crowded event. These intimate exchanges, where we share our lives, our triumphs, and our struggles, create a connection that goes beyond the superficiality of small talk. It's in these moments of true vulnerability, when we open ourselves to one another without fear or reservation, that I feel the deepest bonds. A conversation where we can talk freely, laugh together, and be truly present with each other is more fulfilling than any gathering could ever hope to be. These are the moments that stay with me, that linger long after the conversation has ended, wrapping me in warmth, comfort, and the feeling that I am deeply seen and understood. I've also learned that connection doesn't always need to be with others. There is a form of connection that exists with the world around me, and I've come to find great joy in it. Sometimes, simply being in the presence of nature is enough to remind me of my place in this vast, interconnected world. Sitting in my garden, feeling the sun kiss my skin and the cool, solid earth beneath my hands, I am reminded of something much larger than myself. In those moments, I feel a profound sense of peace and belonging. The world around me, with its gentle rhythms and unspoken language, becomes a source of comfort and connection. The rustling of leaves, the chirping of birds, the movement of clouds across the sky, all of these simple, natural elements fill me with a deep sense of unity. I am reminded that I am part of something far greater than myself, that I am connected to the cycles of life, to the earth beneath me, and the vast universe above. The seasons, each with its beauty and purpose, mirror the ebb and flow of my own life, and they teach me to embrace each stage, each moment, with gratitude and wonder. The gentle rhythm of nature has taught me to appreciate the quiet moments of growth and renewal in my own life. Just as a seed slowly sprouts and unfurls its leaves, I too am constantly growing, evolving, and finding new ways to connect with myself and the world around me. There is beauty in every season of life, in every challenge and triumph, and I've learned to embrace each one with open arms. The cycles of nature teach me patience, understanding, and acceptance, and they have given me the ability to slow down and appreciate the small, quiet moments that often go unnoticed. Each day spent in the garden, each breath of fresh air, and each moment of connection to the natural world reminds me of the peace that comes from simply being present, from finding joy in the world around me. Finding joy in these simpler, quieter connections has allowed me to let go of the pressures and expectations that once weighed so heavily on me. I no longer feel the need to prove my worth through constant socializing or frenetic activity. The need for external validation has faded, replaced by a deep sense of self-acceptance and inner peace. I have come to embrace a life that is authentic to who I am now, a life filled with quiet moments of love, gratitude, and presence. I no longer feel the need to be constantly on the go or surrounded by people to feel fulfilled. Instead, I found that true fulfillment comes from within, from the moments of solitude, from the deep connections I share with those I love, and from the simple pleasures that life offers. There is a profound beauty in this slower, more intentional way of living. It's a life filled with meaning, with love, with a kind of connection that nourishes the soul and brings peace to the heart. And it is in these moments, these quiet, sacred moments of connection, whether with others, with myself, or with the world, that I have found my deepest peace. It is here, in the stillness, that I feel truly alive, truly at home, and truly connected to the heart of life itself. At the age of 70, I have come to a profound realization that has shifted my understanding of what it means to live a meaningful life. I've learned that true connection is not about the number of activities we engage in or the sheer volume of people we meet along the way. Instead, it is about the depth of the interactions we have, the sincerity that infuses every exchange, and the lasting warmth and resonance they leave in our hearts. These are the moments that shape our existence, that fill the spaces between our days with a richness and clarity that cannot be measured by any external standard. It is not the hustle nor the noise of a busy life that makes us feel fulfilled, but the quiet, intimate moments where we connect deeply with others and with ourselves. In these moments, I have discovered a joy that is simple, yet profound, a joy that doesn't ask for anything more than what is already present. It is a contentment that arises not from material gain or constant striving, but from appreciating the quiet gifts that life has to offer, a meaningful conversation, a shared smile, and the comforting presence of a loved one. These are the moments that have become the foundation of my life, the very essence of my fulfillment. The richness of these experiences fills me, and I have realized that in their simplicity, I find all I truly need. As I sit here, reflecting on the reasons behind my choice to step back from the busyness of life, from the endless visits and social obligations, I have come to understand that this is not a retreat from the world. It is not a withdrawal from the people I love, nor a rejection of the connections that have shaped my journey. Rather, it is an embrace of the wisdom that comes with age. Wisdom that calls me to slow down, honor the rhythm of my own life, and recognize what truly matters in this stage of my existence. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 3 below to let me know that you are still here with me. At 70, I have learned to look beyond the noise, the distractions, and the expectations of the world. I have come to see with clarity what is most important. The quality of my relationships, the depth of my connections, and the beauty of living at a slower, more intentional pace. It is in these things that I find the most meaning. The world outside may continue to rush on with its demands, but I have learned to tune in to the stillness, to the moments of quiet joy that offer their form of peace. The truth is, I no longer feel the need to fill every hour of my day with endless tasks, social events, or obligations. The pressure to keep up with the busy pace of life has dissolved over time. Instead, I have come to cherish the stillness, the moments of quiet contemplation, and the opportunities to connect in ways that nourish my spirit. Whether it's a heartfelt phone call from a dear friend, a handwritten letter that carries the warmth of someone's thoughts, or simply the quiet comfort of sitting in my own home, these are the things that bring me the most joy. In them, I find fulfillment, not in the frenetic rush of modern life, but in the simple, intimate moments that are easy to overlook but so incredibly meaningful. Living at this stage of life is about embracing simplicity. It is about releasing the need to constantly be doing something, going somewhere, or proving something. I have come to realize that life does not have to be loud or filled with relentless activity to be rich and rewarding. The more I slow down and focus on what truly matters, the more I find peace and contentment. It is at this slower pace that I have learned to savor the present, to truly be with the people I love, and to cultivate a sense of gratitude for all that life has given me. For those who wonder why I no longer go visiting around, I offer this reflection. It is not because I am withdrawing from life, nor am I distancing myself from the people I care about. It is simply that I am choosing to live my life in a way that feels truest to who I am at this moment. I am honoring this phase of life, where the focus shifts from outward busyness to inward peace, from external achievement to internal contentment. I am not retreating from the world, but instead, I am embracing a different way of being, one that is rooted in authenticity, quiet reflection, and deep connection. This shift has brought with it a profound sense of peace. I have discovered that the truest form of peace comes from within, not from external circumstances or the approval of others, but from aligning my life with what feels most true to me. It is a peace that comes from letting go of the need to impress, to conform, or to keep up. It is a peace that is grounded in love, gratitude, and the simple pleasures that life offers. I have come to see that this, more than anything else, is enough. It is all I need. These lessons, this wisdom I have gained over the years, are not just for me. They are for all of us. They remind us that we do not need to live our lives in constant pursuit of something more. We do not need to be constantly rushing or striving. What we truly need is to slow down, reflect, and cherish the moments that make life truly meaningful. So, I invite you to pause for a moment and reflect on your own life. What is it that brings you peace and fulfillment? What are the small, simple things that nourish your soul? What can you let go of to make space for more authenticity, more joy, and more love? Let us walk this journey together, supporting one another as we embrace the quiet, profound truths that lie at the heart of life. We do not need to chase after anything. We simply need to embrace what we already have, and in doing so, we will find peace, purpose, and an abiding sense of joy that will sustain us through all the years to come. As we reach the end of this reflection, I want to ask you to pause and think about the journey we've just shared. What lessons have you taken away from this? What new insights have you gained about living authentically, embracing the present, and finding peace in the simplicity of life? I'd love to hear from you. Please take a moment to reflect on one thing you've learned today and share it in the comments below. What is one change, no matter how small, that you plan to bring into your own life as a result of this video? Let's support each other in making these meaningful shifts and cultivating a life filled with purpose, love, and gratitude. And if you enjoyed this video, please leave your comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to hearing from you soon.